Hello, welcome to Vintage Cookbooks and Crafts. My name is Barbara and I have collected cookbooks for over 50 years. So come along and I will show you just a few. Many of my cookbooks are from the early 1900s. A few of them are from the late 1800s. Ida Bailey Allen and Bachelor Delineator. Mary Mead, Mrs. Curtis's cookbook, Fanny Farmer, Mrs. Rohrer's cookbooks, Lily Wallace, the Patina's series of cookbooks. This is the Pillsbury with the metal casing. We have Farm Journal. There's more Betty Crocker. On these three shelves, I have regional cookbooks, ethnic and international. Down here, I have many Betty Crocker and Pillsbury. Also, Taste of Home. Up here is the first cookbook I ever cooked out of. My mother had the Settlement Cookbook, and it was also in my school. Let's go make something out of it. We're going to make the crisscross peanut butter cookies out of the Settlement Cookbook. That's on page 480. The recipe calls for shortening, white sugar, brown sugar, 2 eggs, 3 cups of flour, 1½ teaspoons of soda, ½ teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 cup of peanut butter. It says mix the white and brown sugars together, cream the butter or shortening, and I always use butter. Normally I would mix cookies in my KitchenAid, but seeing this is a 1951 cookbook and it calls for mixing by hand, we will mix by hand. Cream the butter, then add the sugars and mix well. That's 1 cup of white sugar, 1 cup of brown sugar. Oh, that one's flying. We need to beat our eggs. Two eggs well beaten. A word of caution: when you use your Pyrex vintage mixing bowls, don't put them in the dishwasher. I put this in the dishwasher, and this bowl used to be solid green of this color, and now the green has been taken off by the strength of the dishwasher detergent. It says you can add vanilla. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And I always use pure vanilla. The recipe says to add the eggs, well beaten, vanilla and flour, sifted with salt and soda. So there are 3 cups of flour in this sifter, and I added the 1½ teaspoons of baking soda and a ½ teaspoon of salt. Now the peanut butter used back then would have been more natural, because I remember we had to stir it up real well because the peanut oil would separate and come to the top in the jar. So I went and bought organic peanut butter, and it definitely had the oil separated. I had to mix it well. All it has is peanuts and sea salt. Nothing added. No hydrogenated oils or anything like that. Or sugars. Just pure peanut butter. Okay, now I'll get rid of these items and come back and roll these into balls on the cookie sheets. It says to roll them into 3/4 inch balls, so I'm making this little scoop a little rounded. A little rounded like that. Another modern cheat. These wonderful cookie scoops. I think we used a measuring spoon, like the metal measuring spoons I had here a minute ago. If I remember correctly, we used a teaspoon, the measuring spoon, to make our balls. And bingo, they're about the same size. Actually, I think I like using the teaspoon better. Now the fun part. We got to play crisscross game. You smash it down in one direction and then in the other, and that's your crisscross pattern. Children love doing this. I did. I still do. Now, I put them in the oven for about 5 to 10 minutes. And when I bring them back out, I'll let them see. I'll let you see what they look like. Now these baked in my oven at 400 for about 9 minutes. And see how nice and golden brown they are on the bottom. 9 minutes was perfect for my oven. I let them sit on the pan for a minute so they don't fall apart. You know, just to firm them up a little bit. Now for my next pan, I am going to use a larger scoop. For my husband some man size. Oh yeah, that's the way to please a man. Give him a man-sized cookie. I keep getting in the way of the light. Did I mention this is my first video? I'll get the hang of this. I'll finish these over on the stove where the bowl isn't in the way. Oops. While the cookies were baking, I rolled up the rest of the balls and I've got another pan over there. I'm going to take a test sample and see how we like it. Peanut butter cookie. Now these are the man-size ones compared to the 3/4 inch balls that the recipe called for. Nicely golden brown. These need to cool a little bit. Nicely golden brown. Well, That's a good size cookie for my husband, and when he has his coffee or milk. He's a milk drinker. The pattern on the larger ones are not as pronounced as on the smaller ones, probably because they had more rising to do. I'll be back with my next pan. Well, the last tray of cookies is out of the oven, and I am going to show you a little closer. These are the ones that are the 3/4 inch size balls. And these were the ones where I used the 1.5 inch scoop. The recipe was crisscross peanut butter cookies out of the Settlement Cookbook, The Way to a Man's Heart.